people really believe Tomlin sitting Pickens was to keep him fresh. Something definitely happened.
So prior to the interview or prior to the open locker room stuff today, I was kind of under the assumption of, all right, you're not necessarily doing it to keep him fresh, but maybe something happened behind closed doors. We're not privy to it necessarily. It's not right to have that info either. Like if it comes out, great. But, I just thought of it as the same way we saw Chooks lose his starting spot because of something that was said behind closed doors. Thought to myself, man, maybe this is his way of, we still need you out there, so we're going to play you. But whatever was said, whatever could have been the case behind the scene, we are going to kind of sit you down and let you know that this isn't okay. Now, hindsight 2020, when I think about the writing on the nose stuff with the eye black, I'm like, all right, what do you like? Who's the message you're trying to send that to? Because we know NFL wise, that's a fine anyway. So clearly your mind's made up that you're willing to lose money behind this message. So who are you directing it to? Then you start to look at some of the stuff on field and it's like, all right, are you pissed off with somebody? Like, I don't know. Body language is the best. We know how the game ends. We see, once again, you kind of black out, grab the face mask situation. And then it's like, all right, you got open locker or open media today, and they saying that you ducked off, not trying to talk to anybody.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, Brooke Pryor reported that. Yeah, they said
today.
During media availability today.
Well, yeah, I saw it was similar yesterday too.
They said he sat in the equipment room, and the media could see him, but he wasn't coming out.
Huh.
Yeah.
I heard he didn't do anything last night in terms of media, but also even today.
Yeah. So I'm just like, man, I don't know, man. And so when I hear that type of stuff, that's what makes me think, all right, maybe it is something going on behind the scenes. Maybe, you do have a little bit of tension with coaching staff or play call, or maybe it's the amount of targets. I personally wanted to get more targets. We've talked about that.
But there's also a way to be a professional.
And that's my other part.
We're on, season 3 of this George Pickens show.
Yeah, and he's young, and that's the part for me where I try to still extend grace, but it's very hard when it's repetitive. It's not a different issue. It's the same thing that with
some of the surroundings changing around. Right. We were like, oh, is it a Canada thing, a Pickett thing?
Well, remember last year when it allegedly stopped, it was, he had a great game against the Bengals.
Yeah, we got
with Mason Rudolph. He had a great game though. He balled out. Then we kept winning, and it was like, it's put to rest. But now we face some adversity once again this year. And the first 2 times of adversity, we start to kind of revert back to some of the immaturity. Whether that's the body language, whether that's the lack of effort, or just the bonehead situation at the end of the game, regardless of what the guy said to you, we all talk smack, we all celebrate. You know what it is, man. But you wig out, grab the dude's face, man. It's like, number one, that's going to cost you. So now you're getting double fine for the eye black and for the fine, and for the face mask. But then on top of that, what's the message that you're sending to the squad? That your personal vendetta or your personal feelings are bigger than what we're doing as a team. That's the stuff where, like you said, it starts to shift to, do you think you're bigger than the team, or do you think you're bigger than the shield? And the league will let you know, whether you're Le'Veon Bell, whether you're Antonio Brown, whether you're Chad Johnson, Terrell Owens. We could go down the list of dudes that kind of have fallen into that trap of making decisions where they thought that they were bigger than a team or bigger than the brand of the NFL. And we ultimately saw how those guys, had their rough endings and how that kind of hurt their careers. My hope is that for him, he kind of learns from these situations, because we're not the only ones talking about this type of stuff with him. Some people are way more past it. They've been one of them. Hey, man, get him out of here. But
I was saying, I think it was a legitimate conversation last year before that Bengals game of releasing him, benching him, trading him, some type of discipline punishment, because think of all the stuff that led to that point. Like, it was just getting ridiculous. Yeah. But then he had the one game where we switched the quarterback, and I think, all right, we'll give him one more chance.
Yeah.
Different quarterback. We'll see what happens. And then, all was well for the rest of that season, so we kind of brushed it under the rug. Mm-hmm. Now it's popping up again. No more Kenny, no more Canada. And it's crazy, too, when you have Pickens, the talent that he is, basically being your wide receiver 3. Like, that's insane. if you look at the snap counts, he was behind
in
Van
terms of
Jefferson
production,
and
yeah. I mean, in
Calvin
terms of
Austin.
participation, yeah.
59% of the snaps.
And when you look at the overall production from the wide receivers as a whole, Najee Harris was our leading receiver yesterday. The guy that we criticized the most in terms of not being explosive and not being able to, be a receiving threat. He was our leading receiver in terms of yardage and everything, which is kind of crazy, man. When you think about some of the receivers we had, Najee had 2 catches for 35 yards. He had the 20-yard gain, obviously, on the screen. The next, we had the the two-way tie, Van Jefferson and GP. 3 catches, 26 yards. Connor Hayward, 2 catches, 23 yards. Move, 3 catches, 22 yards. Like, we know we need GP a lot more than just having 3 catches. But at the same time, it's like, if
you're not going to block, if you're not going to do all the other
you
stuff,
don't get to just get
like
the ball, and that's what it looks
part
like.
of why you're not getting the snaps,
Yes.
and that's part of why you always haven't been getting the snaps, which is insane to begin with. But you have made up for it with your receiving.
Yes, but
now we're getting some of the antics
year,
off the field again.
Yeah,
the bad route running,
and just we're seeing things that we typically hadn't seen with him, which is drops.
True.
We've seen multiple drops even this season, which has been uncharacteristic. And we would typically say, man, if it's, you're producing at a high level, you put up with a lot more stuff. We shared the locker room with AB 4 years, man. So the amount of stuff that you would see at times, it's like, yo, when this dude was going out here, and y'all know what he was in 2014, 15, 16, 17, and 18. It's a big reason why he could do what he was doing behind closed doors. A big reason why a lot of people didn't know about half of that stuff until he finally left, because it was because of how dominant he was, man. But with GP, we're not even getting that right now. So you're running into this situation of your way of expressing your passion or your frustration is outweighing or is way louder than your production. And that can't be the case, because that's how
what happens when it gets to that point.
I was about to say, that's how guys end up finding new places of employment. And, we fans, we want you to be here. But that's going to be how it shifts if that doesn't change. Whether it's you get quieter with your passions and frustrations, or your production gets a lot louder. But it has to be one or the other, because right now it's becoming way more of a distraction. And like you said, they've taken him off the field in certain scenarios where it's like, yo, we know you're capable of blocking. We know you're capable of, even when you're not the guy that's priority number 1 in this route, you can still run a better route that's going to clear it out for this guy because of the attention you're going to draw. You want a case?
You don't know
example,
what's going to happen.
But
either.
Deke, you want a prime example? Did you watch CeeDee Lamb last night? It's a big reason why all those other guys were able to have some of the success that they were having, because of the attention that was going to CeeDee. But CeeDee ain't just give up on it. CeeDee was still out there trying to get attention, still trying to make plays. And it's like, if you want to be the man out here, man, this is what comes with that. You got to be willing to do all of that stuff. Even when it's not your route or you're not target number 1, you still got to understand that I'm clearing this out for this guy. But it comes off as more selfish or me first when the actions are, I don't do these things when I'm not getting the ball. But when I am supposed to get the ball, my effort, the release, everything just looks way better. But we also can see times where Justin Fields is wanting to go to you, and you're not.
Yeah, the one cross over the middle.
It's like, come on, babe.
It's like lollygagging.
He wants you. That's a target that could go to you. That's production. I mean, shoot. Whether you want to be a star, you're doing it for the money, whatever. It's like, bro, that's how you get all of that. But it's just, it's unfortunate, because to me, I still feel like the youth part is real with him. He's still a young dude. But that clock is ticking, man.
It definitely is, because we're 3 years into it. That was going to be my next question, is where do we go from here? Because there's no way Tomlin is going to be able to defend this anymore. Like, he stuck up for him last year.
Yeah. Because I partially feel like him saying, yo, I'm doing it to protect him, for kind of like Cam Hayward, that was his version of let me cover you up. Let me keep whatever's in-house. Because if it's injury, GP would communicate that, Coach T would communicate that, or that would be communicated. First off, why are you treating a third-year guy like he's a 12-year vet and he's, load management Wednesday? Like, we know what this is. We all know what this, but that's Coach Tomlin. when we talk player coach, right, and we say, oh, is this a bad thing? I don't feel like it's bad because that's his version of whatever we dealing with, let's keep this in here. Because once it gets public, now everybody has a chance to have a thought, comment, or opinion on it, and it can get messy.
Sure, but Tomlin's got to be getting fed up.
Of course he is, because how many times do he have to keep answering for it? And there's only so many times he's going to want to have to put his face out there and try to put that up there for him while the production isn't being reciprocated back. When that's AB over there and AB going out there and giving you 5 for $120 and 2 tutties, Coach T's under there every day. Yep, we're good. Don't worry about nothing. He was on time. He showed up to everything. Yep, we're good. That's how I go. But right now the production isn't there with GP, so we about to see how it goes, man. But like I said, he's too talented, man. He's too talented. Like, come on, man.
I agree. I don't want to get rid of Pickens, but if you're Tomlin and you keep on enabling it, it's a terrible message to the rest of the players in the locker room, I feel like.
Because I could understand his frustrations. If it's, I want the targets, I want a more explosive offense, maybe I want a different style of quarterback. Like, any of these things I could understand, and he would be valid in his complaints.
Fields was his boy.
But no, I'm just saying in general, like, because stylistically,
he wanted to pick it out of here.
I'm just saying stylistically though, Justin Fields to Russell Wilson, 2 different style quarterbacks. Sure. So maybe for him, it's like, I want a dude who is a little bit more of a guy that has, faster reads, a little bit more consistent passer of the football. That benefits me a little bit better. Maybe that'll make Arthur Smith, instead of still rocking with the condensed formations and trying to run the ball when we know these defenses aren't respecting our passing attack right now, maybe that could change it a little bit. So if that was why he's frustrated, I could get that. But it's all about how you display those frustrations. Yeah. You can't have bad body language, bad effort, look like you're quitting on plays, and then expect
because no one else gets to do that. Why do you get to do that? No one else does. Pat Fryman said that comment after the game. He's like, I'm not getting as many targets as I want, but I'm still working my ass off no matter what happens out there.
You don't get rewarded for having the bad attitude. You don't get rewarded for taking the bad body language. That causes more issues than it's going to help him. But when you're young, that's why I keep referencing him being young, is because just thinking back to me in year 3, I'm like, I get that mindset. I can understand the mentality, but at the same time, you still got to understand the difference, man. You're a professional now. This isn't college. This isn't high school. You can't just hop in the transfer portal. You can't just say, yo, coach, I'm mad with you, man. Kiss my butt. Do how I want to do. It's like, it's a draft that happens every single year, man. Before there was a George Pickens, there was a guy, Martavis Bryant, right? We've seen, before it was a Martavis Bryant, you had a Justin Blackmon. Before him, you had a Josh Gordon. We can go down the list of dudes that were superstar caliber talents that, unfortunately, for whatever reasons, it never materialized. We just don't want that to be GP. But this is where you start to see them crossroads, and it's like, man, you're going to have to start to make a decision sooner rather than later about who you want to be and who you want to be labeled as at this level, man.
Yeah, because right now I don't think it does the team any justice to trade Pickens and not get something in return. That's why whenever you brought up Devontae Adams, if it's a Pickens for Devontae Adams swap, fine. We get an elite receiver in return. But just trading Pickens for a draft pick, it's like,
I don't want to do that. Yeah, that takes like an L.
We're even more decimated.
Feels like an L, bro.
But if this stuff keeps happening, you just might have to. You just might have to figure it out.
Because now you say, I'd rather lose with pride, or I'd rather lose with my integrity than, suffer and kiss your butt with all these antics. I get that.
Yeah. I mean, we did it with Claypool. And at the time with Claypool, it didn't really make sense to get rid of him because we had Pickett coming in. You wanted to give him as many
we said he had
targets
3
as
weapons,
possible.
Man, and then it took a big weapon from him. So I'm with you.
And the thing with Claypool, too, and how that trade all happened, there was a rumor that came out a couple weeks before the deadline that you watch out for Claypool. I laughed at it. I'm like, there's no way. This is stupid. Why would we do that? Mm-hmm. Same thing happened last week with Pickens. Yep. I know we're talking about trading for receiver Devontae Adams, but Diana Rossini said, watch out for the Steelers potentially trading Pickens. And I'm thinking to myself, there's no way. And then the game plays out like it did this week.
And you see the body language, you see the snaps decrease, you see the tape on your face, you see I don't want to be available to the media post game, day after the game. Yeah, I don't want to say where there's smoke, there's fire, but I don't know. It look a little smoky over there, you know?
Yeah. I don't know what to do going forward. I don't know what the decision is or how you handle it right now.
The thing that makes it unique and low-key dangerous for GP is the timing of it. Kind of like when we said with Kenny. When you start to get disgruntled and there actually are legitimate options available, that's when it can get weird. Kenny felt some type of way. We went and brought in Russ. He felt some type of way about Russ. We said goodbye, brought in Fields. Right now, who's the big wide receiver that's available? Devontae Adams. We know what that is. We can talk age all we want. All I need is another 3 from him, right?
I'd like to think he'd be running some better routes.
You catch what I'm saying?
He'd be giving better effort.
Hey, and I guarantee he's going to
you
draw
could at least give us
more
that
attention, which is going to open up that run game even more. So think about how it could get weird. Oh, we need this dude really bad. Not only do we think he's a more proven player at this stage in his career, but we also think that his temperament is worth him bringing in here. So we'll ship GP and we'll up the draft pick Andy to spice it up a little bit more for you, Vegas, because I know he really wants to go to New York to be with the Jets or to New Orleans with the Saints. But we'll bump our offer up and make it that much better. GP's included in it. Like, that's how it gets weird, and that's how fast it can happen.
We traded AB for a 5th-round pick initially to Buffalo.
And $820 million,
Martavis for
and we $820 million behind AB. Think about that. AB at that time was still the best in the league at that time. And we 820. It's like you've seen better players have worse outcomes for, well, I ain't going to say doing less because AB did a lot. But you catch what I'm saying. They've moved on from way better dudes, future gold jacket type of guys, man. So you just got to understand that, man, some of that pride, some of that ego, it can cost you at this level because, yeah, nobody is bigger than the shield. Nobody's bigger than the logo, man. And that's been proven time and time again, man.
Yeah, when you got Steeler legends talking about it last year, like Merrill Hodge. I remember Hines Ward was talking about definition of what it means to be a Steeler receiver.
Yeah.
And then fast forward to it's happening again in year 3.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering when's the switch going to flip?
I'm hoping for him, man.
But yeah, when do we get to the point it's like, all right, we can't be hoping anymore?
I know.
This is year 3.
I know,
I get
bro.
he's young and everything. This is year 3, middle year 3.
And you don't want to enable it, and that's my fear. It's like if you're doing this right now,
that's because it's a terrible message.
Deke, are you ready, Deke?
Terrible message. The dudes like Jalen Warren, Fryermuth,
time out, Deke.
Dudes that work their ass off.
I'm just gonna tell you the real game, right? NFL wise, he's on puppy child money wise. He on the regular rookie deal. And if you acting like this with the puppy child, imagine when they give you that real money. Imagine when they give you that with the multiple comments. Man, come on, bro. If you acting like this now, what organization is looking at him saying, "Oh yeah, man, I'd love to pay him more. Yeah, I think he'll definitely be good the whole time." Man, that scares them people off. They don't want to pay that. They don't want to do that. And especially when the production isn't as consistent as it needs to be as well, man. I'm hoping for him, man, that he could tighten it up a little bit.
Even though I know we have Arthur Smith as our coordinator, he wants to run the offense a certain way with tight ends and everything. It's still insane to have a guy like George Pickens only out there for 59% of the snaps.
1,000%, I agree.
It's just insanity.
1,000%.
And
but if he's not going to block not going to run the routes,
that's insane.
It's more
too.
of a detriment to have him out there than it's not. You would much rather put Van Jefferson and say, "Van, go run." I'm watching Calvin Austin.
So why do we want to keep Pickens then?
Deke, I'm watching Calvin Austin try to lead block to the front side on the run play, and I'm like, bro, I don't like this. But what's the alternative right now? It's like, yo, you go put GP out there, and he's not gonna give you the effort that you need anyways. At least the one dude's gonna fight. Now he's little, so he's still losing, but at least he's fighting. And I think that's kind of what you run into at times.
Why are we keeping Pickens then? That's the question.
Well, you've kept him this long because of the talent, because of the production at times, and that's the big reason why. But, I mean, we moved on from Deontay Johnson. Deontay had more cachet here from the Steelers' perspective, and they moved on from him because of Kenny.
I'm thinking about Arthur Smith down in Tennessee. Was there any conversations about this with like an A.J. Brown? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, even though it's run first, run heavy, this and that, like, Dude, A.J. Brown was still that guy down there. He was the wide receiver one. He was out there all the time. I don't think there was any questions about his effort or any of that stuff.
I wonder, my only thing in terms of devil's advocate is I do feel like the production was more consistent with him, and I wonder was that more so Tannehill as well as he was playing during that time frame? Did that have some type of reason, and also why it was a little bit smoother for him? Whereas when we look at Fields, we're looking at Fields improve week to week, but it's the incremental improvements. Whereas when we looked at Tannehill, I mean, he got comeback player of the year and ended up getting $100 million. It was like that.
They also had Derrick Henry, though.
Which is also true. That helps out a lot. He's still doing
which I called for this offseason, and a lot of people mocked me like, no, Najee's good enough. Trust me. No, don't get Derrick Henry in there. You guys were wrong. Anyone that critiqued that call by me, you guys were very, very wrong. I told you Derrick Henry still had it.
Yeah.
Just make the swap. But no, Deke. We drafted Najee. Najee's our guy. 3 years in a row, 1,000 yards. You mean to tell me we wouldn't be a better offense with Derrick Henry right now?
Derrick looks really good at times, huh? I ain't even gonna hold you. Derrick looking real good right now. Unfortunately, I've seen that. Yeah.
And it would be him reuniting with his Tennessee offensive coordinator, Arthur Smith.
It would open it up for the pass game as well. It would. Unfortunately, we did not, though.
You see him still breaking off those 50, 60, 70, 80-yard runs?
Oh, no. We said King Henry, he's the cream of the crop in terms of the big speed running back. Yeah. But that's the outlier. That's the guy that you are hoping that you can get the closest thing to that. And at the time, Najee was the closest thing to that in terms of big body, can move, durable. He just doesn't have that go-go, which is crazy that Derrick Henry, even at this stage, still has that button. He can still big boy, little upright, cock lean, You like, bro, this is insane. So, yeah.
All right, I guess moving on, right?
I
mean, had anything else to say about Pickens?
I guess that was
because I was going to say this. I feel like Pickens, you were talking about A.J. Brown getting more opportunities because of Tannehill and how he was playing and stuff. I think the first order of business, though, would just to get Pickens out on the field more, because that would help with his production. If you're out on the field, you would get more opportunities naturally, which makes Tomlin's statement just absolute BS. Though.
Right, but
we're trying to improve Pickens' production by keeping him out of the game.
But how do you put him in more if his effort is in question?
Exactly.
So maybe you say,
there's a problem. Basically, that's what it comes. There's a problem.
Maybe what coach is saying is that he's saying, yo, you tired. You can't go 100% effort for 70 snaps. So let me cut your snaps down by 20. Give you 40 snaps. Oh, you can't go hard for 40 snaps? All right, bet. Say less. Let me get you out there for 20 snaps then. That's what he might be doing, because that's another approach that coaches have done throughout my career to see accountability. If you can't play your best for 100 reps, then I'm going to take those reps off your plate, because we do feel at this level we're all talented enough that 80% of you is not going to be better than 100% of your teammate or 100% of the guy opposite of you. So that's kind of how we take that approach. But, with GPs, I don't know. We'll see, man. We'll see.
I don't know what to think anymore. I'd do a Pickens for Devontae trade straight up right now.
I mean, I think a lot of us would. I don't know if Vegas would.
I don't know if I don't know any other solutions though. I'd be
you would have to
giving a thumbs up.
You would have to put in a pick with that. I think. I don't think Vegas is going for just GP.
We'll give him a fourth in GP.
Would you do it for a second in GP?
At this point, sure.
Okay.
We need to change the vibes.
Okay.
I don't want to do this again.
Okay,
I don't.
Okay.
I'm scarred from last year.
What if it took a first in GP?
No, I think Vegas wants a second.
No. I'm with you on that. I just wasn't sure because of the Saints and Jets element.
We got to up our offer.
Right, if they're going to be offering a second, because you look at the Jets, they're going to need them. I know Buffalo is going to be on the phone heavy as well. You're going to have to be willing to up it a little. That's all I'm saying.
We need to do something.
For sure.
Whatever it takes.
For sure.
Unless you're guaranteeing me this doesn't happen anymore.
As much as I'm a GP fan, I don't know if I can guarantee that, bro. And I rock, man. I do
too, man.
I know you rock with him. I rock with him. My little man rock with him. I'm just like, Every time I see something pop, I'm like, no.
This isn't good.
I'm just like, no. I try to ignore something. I'm like, nope, I don't see any of that. I'm just oblivious. And it's like, bro, why you making it so loud, man? Like, okay, you don't talk to the media last night. It's okay. Don't do it again today, though. It's louder. All right, it's loud.
Now Tomlin's gonna have to.
You see what I'm saying?
Come in on Tuesday.
Yeah, now that's an
account
issue.
for you.
Now it's an issue.
It's sad. Like
It's
this
an
happened
issue.
all last year. I thought it would be over. I really did.
You
got Fields in here. You got
Yeah,
Russ in
man,
here. A
come
whole new
on,
turnaround
bro.
on the offensive staff.
Look, the game is the game. All right, your effort, whatever. All right, you want the best, cool. But then you wig out at the end and you snatch my man's face. I'm like, yo, just chill, bro. You just gotta chill, man.